Amen. Good morning, everyone. Shir Hashirim this afternoon, Be'ezrat Hashem, will be at 5:15, followed by Mincha at 5:30. Candlelighting this afternoon is at 5:37. Again, 5:15, 5:30, 5:37. Those are the Zmanim. On behalf of the Kehillah and myself personally, we'd like to welcome Rabbi Seton. Welcome from Yerushalayim, from Eretz Yisrael, who's coming here. Very big Talmid Chacham. I personally was nene from his pamphlet on Or Chanukah, and we're very honored to have him here. And for all people that would like to attend the Shabbaton at Yehudi Ben Shabbat's house, we greatly appreciate that, all the endeavors that were involved in that. And Baruch haba, we're very honored that the Rabbi is here to be here in our community. We'd like to thank Torah Anytime as well, Shul.com and Sharei Ezra. Today is Chav Zayin Tevet Tavshin Pei Gimel. Today is the Yartzeit of many tzaddikim and tzidkaniyot, most notably that of Reb Shamshon ben Rafael Hirsch, the Rav of Frankfurt de Mayen, as well as a tremendous author, Chorev. He was at the forefront of arguing against the Maskilim, and many of the different things that he wrote and he actually modeled himself was a great model for many Jews who are Torah true and God-fearing people. And we appreciate that. My cousin is a direct descendant of his. Obviously, they are continuing in his path of being someone who is very loyal to the Torah, loyal to Hashem. And they say that Reb Shamshon Rafael Hirsch, his name really is supposed to be pronounced Shimshon. So how did it become Shamshon? So some people don't know this, that there was actually a maskil whose name was very similar to his. His name was Shimshon Hirsch. So he wanted to show he's not that Shimshon Hirsch, he's Shamshon Hirsch. So that's how the name stuck, and it became Shamshon Rafael Hirsch, even though it's not really supposed to be pronounced that way. And the story goes is that when it came time for him to get married, he specifically chose a wife that was significantly older than him. And somebody asked him, how could you choose a wife like that? And he said, for what I need to accomplish on this world, I don't need a little child to be with me. I need an adult. And he was somebody that was very well known. One of my favorite Divrei Torah that he used to always say was, it says Eretz, that the land is called Eretz. Why is it not called Adama? He says Eretz means Milashon Ratz. Whatever you're doing, do it quick. Make sure you don't have a lot of time here on this world. So Ratz. You got to be quick and do whatever it is you need to do, because the time is ticking against you. And the reason why we don't feel like that is because our neshama is eternal, but our body is not. And we have to do whatever it is we can accomplish in the limited time and space that we have on this world. We discussed previously that when it comes to any item that a person is ne'aneh, a person derives some type of benefit, you make a beracha. So a question that always comes up every once in a while is, what beracha do you make on vitamins? Let's say flavored vitamins. Do you make a beracha on that? Or the argument is you shouldn't make a beracha on that, because the only reason why I'm taking this is to supplement my health. It's not really I'm taking it for any real purpose. It's just and happens to have a taste. So is that enough of a reason that we say that a person has to make a beracha on that, yes or no? So say Yosef, in this scenario, since you derive some type of form of benefit, and you are deriving a benefit and there's a taste involved, you wouldn't make a beracha. Obviously, you should make sure that the item is kasher, and that way you won't run into any questions. Which goes to the next question, which is what happens if someone's a choleh and someone's in sakana? So we know if a person is in great danger, the Torah tells us, V'chai bahem, says the Gemara, V'lo sheyamut bahem. Hashem gave us the Torah for us to live and be able to prosper on this world, and not chas v'shalom, to perish in this world. So we need to understand that human life takes precedence above all other things. We break Shabbat, break Yom Kippur, except for I tell people, aim, which is you have a gun pointed to my head, go ahead and aim, go ahead and kill me. And aim is Rashi Tevot for adultery, idolatry, and murder. Those are the only three you have to give up your life for, or Chilul Hashem, or Lashon Hara. But the idea is that you tell a person that I'm willing to die, Anerach HaKiddush Hashem, but otherwise you have to live with the Torah and live with the times. So the question is, a choleh that has a sakana, what does he do on that? And Yom Kippur, does he make a bracha or not? Says the poskim, yes, you do. You make a bracha, says the Yachud Yosef, because again, you're being ne'aneh, you're deriving benefit, and today, this is your mitzvah to eat this food. You make a bracha rishona and achrona as well. They even say if a person has to eat bread, they have to say Ya'aleh v'yavo, and when they say Ya'aleh v'yavo, they say B'yom HaKippurim hazeh. And I one time saw a question that they asked is, what happens if you forget to say? Do you have to repeat? So that's they say no, you don't, because you have no chiyuv su'udah, obviously. But the idea is it's a person that has to do that in this scenario. If for whatever reason the only way that a person can eat a certain type of medicine, and the medicine that's available happens to be it's not kasher, Rahman al-San, so since you're ingesting something that is not kasher, we say that a person does not make a bracha. He says, although, says Yachud Yosef, technically Maran writes that if it does have a pleasurable taste, even though technically you're not supposed to eat this, but if it does taste good and you like how it tastes, technically you should make a bracha according to Maran because you're being ne'enes, so you should make a bracha. But what do you mean? I don't want to eat this thing, but you have to eat it. But I enjoy it. So sort of you have a conflict of opinion inside of your head. He says, however, says Yakut Yosef and brings from his father, even though Maran says you do make a bracha in such a scenario, he says, Ar minhag is shev al taseh adif. It's better for you not to make a bracha and just stay away from it and rely on the poskim that say that when you made a bracha, when you weren't supposed to, so you have who to rely on when it comes to that. We say when a person is somech geula letfilah, so we brought previously, a person is ben olam haba. He's considered someone who goes to the next world. So why is that? So says the Maharal, he says like this, if a person understands that they were in a tremendous sakana their entire life, and then they had a geula, something happened, a miracle took place, they got redeemed, Hashem saved them. That's what geula means. You were in a very perilous situation, and boom, Hashem, He literally redeemed you. You're saved. So when a person comes to geula, you now realize that you're in the reshut of acherim. You could be chas shalom. You're going to say, well, this thing saved me and that thing saved me. Something else will make a person think that something else saved them. That is the most sensitive time that we have to be somech geula litfilah. You have to say that my redemption happened. It's only from you, Hashem. Tfilah to Hashem. So if a person recognizes that, then he's a ben olam haba. Don't say it's because this person helped me out, that person helped me out, this situation, that. Nothing to do with that. Somech geula litfilah. You say it's Hakadosh Baruch Hu. It's ben olam haba. Someone is guaranteed to have a very good time in this world and the next world as well. Just two more ideas with this we'll conclude. There's a big machloket between the chinuch and the minchat chinuch about when it comes to different kinyanim, which ones are deoraita or derabanan. So says the chinuch in mitzvah shin lamed vav, he says the following: Kesev, shtar, chazaka, hagba, mishicha, misira, all of those that we are very familiar with in different types of kinyanim, all are derabanan. And now you're going to tell me there's psukim that seems to indicate that it's actually midioraita. He says that's an asmachta. It's just like a nice hint. But it's not dioraita. It's not binding min Torah. However, the Minchat Chinuch, he argues. He said, what are you talking about? Kesev, shtar, chazaka, and chalipin, chatzer. Those are midioraita. There are many kinyanim that if you don't do that properly, you're talking about yisui deoraita, biyat asurot. You're talking about, let's say, different things, chilul Shabbat. I mean, there's so many things, gneva, gzela, things that potentially you're running into a lot of problems. If you don't say those deoraitas, says Minchat Chinuch, you're going to run into a host of problems. So what are you talking about? So you have a very big debate about what it is when it comes to all these things. Obviously, that's why we do many kinyanim. They say at the chuppah, the reason why we do so many kinyanim, kesef, shtar, and chatzer, and then they go to cheder yichud ultimately for biyah. All those things are just in case you're saying each one is the rabbanan. We want to cover as many bases as possible that should be a real kinyan, which will be hopefully a kesher shel kayama le'olam ba'ed. And just the following with this will conclude. It says a beautiful idea I saw from the Echud B'Chidur, Rabbi Epstein from Lakewood. He brings a beautiful idea from the Chatam Sofer. It says, Livchu zivchu lelokechem ba'aretz. Paro throws up his hands in the air and says, you know what, fine, I agree. You want to do zvachim v'holot, fine, b'chavod. But do it here. Is he out of his mind? Moshe Rabbeinu said, we want to go lech al midbar, we want to go into the desert, we want to go for 3 days, and we're going to come right back. That was the condition. And Paro suddenly he gives a little bit and says, you know what, you could do zvachim v'olot, but you know what, do it here. That's not what Moshe Rabbeinu said. He said, we want to go out, we'll come right back. What's the problem? And Paro is saying, yeah. He's like playing games. It doesn't even sound normal. He was a higyonim, he was a very smart person. Why was he even saying that? So they say, no. Well, this is right after Makat Orev. And Makat Orev, Hashem, the Rabbeinu Bachye and others, the Mefarshim, they bring Rav Maram Chabib, they bring down that when it says El Haaretz, when it literally brought the ground with all the animals, because animals are by nature inhibited, especially if they're not in their regular habitat. So if you take a polar bear and you put him in the middle of Egypt, the polar bear is just not going to know what to do with itself. You take a squid out of the water, it's not going to know what to do with itself. You take any item and it's out of its element, it's really not going to be able to be effective. So what HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? He brought every animal from its habitat, brought it into Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim was a hodgepodge of all these different animals with their habitat and their natural habitat there. So Paro says, well, one second, Egypt just became the showcase now for the entire world. What do you have to go to Eretz Yisrael? Why do you have to go El Midbar? We brought it here to you. So you could do it right here. What's the big deal? Everything came here anyways. Hey, he's like being a chevraman. He's saying you could do it right here, right now. And he says, no. In order for us to be successful, we got to be outside. We have to do it dafka away. A lot of times that tells you, sometimes when people, let's say, they want to fix places up and they want to make it in, but if it's rotten to its core, you're never going to be able to fix it. Sometimes you have to go a little out, be able to recalibrate, and then come back. Paro understood that. He said, Afal Piken, I don't want you to do that. If a person is able to recalibrate, sometimes you need to walk out in order to come back. Hopefully, Bezat Hashem, a person is able to recalibrate with the different stimuli, and Bezat Hashem, do their Avodat Hashem wherever they may need to be. Rabbi Chanani ben Akasha Omer, Hatzah Kadosh Baruch Hu, L'Zdakot Ed Yisrael, Lefikach B'lam Torah Mitzvot, Shenemar Adonecha V'etzman Tzeko, Yagdu Torah.